Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is this and I hope you're doing well, and today we're talking about this article from Bounding Into Comics. This is something that's been covered by Jeremy and a bunch of other people, and this is indeed the Jeremy Renner interview with Brie Larson, which seems to indicate that Brie Larson might not be the most popular person behind the camera when it comes to how she's interacting with everyone else. And so as it says here, Hawkeye actor Jeremy Renner rebukes Captain Marvel actress Brie Larson in promo interview for Avengers Endgame. Now, let me just be perfectly honest here. Is it that she is hated by everyone? I honestly don't know. I'm not the one behind the scenes. I do not have any interactions with these people, so I really honestly cannot tell you what interactions they have, or if they're friends, or what all this has to do with anything. All I can tell you is what's being said, body language, and all these other factors that seem to indicate that there's at least some tension going on behind the scenes. Now, could it be true? I think so. I think there's enough evidence to suggest that it could be true. But remember, like, all this is pretty much speculation on our part, which is pretty much what the news is nowadays, seeing that most news outlets these days tend to just, go off on their own tangents rather than say anything else. Remember this article that I talked about yesterday about how Endgame is apparently, the not so hidden environmental politics, even though the movie itself never actually takes a direct talking point to the, politics going on with the film. People still speculate, people still talk about it, yet these people don't really get attacked by other people on Twitter or anyone else, only when we go into these things, which seem to indicate just an overall mindset and overall thought process towards a particular actor. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't speculate on what we're seeing in these interviews. We can't speculate on what we're hearing and what we're what we're reading from these various sites. No, we can't do any of that. But when it comes to them trying to take a movie that's supposed to be awesome, that's potentially going to be one of the largest money makers of all time. Oh no. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. But this, no, we can't. It's just interesting. It's very interesting how there is this double standard that goes on. As it says here, Hawkeye actor Jeremy Renner rebuked Captain Marvel actress in a recent interview promoting the upcoming Marvel Studios epic Avengers Endgame. In an interview with NDTV, Renner and Larson are asked by NDTV's Rohit Kilnani about the responsibility of being a celebrity and actor in the Marvel Studios films. Larson says, "I'm committed to self-improvement and I work at being the best person I can be and using this platform for as much good as I can. It doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but I'm very comfortable with that and allowing myself to learn from those mistakes," which again seems to be the case where she wants again to use this as her platform for her activism. Remember that she said Captain Marvel is her activism, and she's going to try and take that activism and spread it all across the world. That is, of course, unless she's talking about other countries where women are actually mistreated, where they actually are treated like second-class citizens, where they actually are, in many cases still abused and forced into various marriages. Oh no, she won't go there. She won't bring her activism there. She won't use her millions upon millions to help people there. But no, she'll use that to, help people go to see her movie, and she'll use her Twitter to promote all of that and all that nonsense. Oh yeah, she has no problem doing that. But when it comes to actually helping real people who are actually suffering, no, not going to talk about that. I'm not saying that she doesn't do those things. I'm not saying that, any actor that we talk about here doesn't have some sense of helping other people out. But it is just interesting how these people tend to just, sit on their high horses trying to say, oh, look how all the good I do. But in reality, when you actually look at the things that they're doing, it's like, okay, well, it's easy to do that. That's not a challenge to do what you're doing. It's easy to have a million, to have millions upon millions of dollars and to send, a million of that across the sea, or, here in the United States, to put it into some type of, program that's going to help people. It's easy to do that. It's a lot harder to actually go and advocate for those people that you claim to be standing up for. But of course, they would rather stay in the safety net of the United States rather than actually have to, risk anything going anywhere else, because that is, of course, what actors do. But here is Hawkeye's response. Here is Jeremy Renner's response. And I know that Anna, that Star Wars girl, actually has a lot of issues with Jeremy Renner because apparently he, that she actually met him at one point in time, or rather a friend of hers met him at one point in time, and it was picking up his niece or his nephew or something to that effect. It just didn't seem like a very good person. Again, I've never met him, so I can't speak for that, but it's just interesting to hear his response. So he says, "I'm pretty accountable and responsible in my own life. At any rate, celebrity isn't something that I use as any sort of platform to be more responsible or accountable. I suppose it's certainly an absolute blessing to see the joy on kids' faces. I don't think there's a feeling that comes close to that." I mean, I think that's awesome. One, he's staying on task. He understands that this franchise, that these movies are really meant specifically to reach out to people who maybe otherwise, don't really have that much to look up to. It's hard for us to live in the world that we do today with internet and with all the things going on and not want to have some sense of hope and not want to have some sense of, oh, there is something better. There are heroes out there. There are heroes that exist. And so I guess, as his point says, to see the smile on kids' faces, his own words, I honestly think is something that should be, I think, taken a little bit more seriously. Brie Larson obviously doesn't really care about that as much. I'm not saying she doesn't care about it at all. I'm not saying that she's an ice queen, though I'm sure many others would. What I'm trying to say is that she's obviously using this platform for her own personal self-interest rather than actually trying to help anybody. Again, even when she's helping other people, she's only trying to help herself in the process, which I think is interesting nonetheless. But also, I love how he says celebrity isn't something that I use as a platform. And I think that that's a very important thing to say, because I think for any celebrity for that matter, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, it doesn't matter what you're pushing for. If you're using your celebrity status, if you're using the various means that you now have, the access that you now have to try and push certain political agendas or anything like that, I think that you're just totally misusing it, because people aren't going to see you and going to support you because of the various political movements that you're a part of. We're going to see you and we're going to support you. And Jeremy Renner understands this because you are portraying heroes on screen. And guess what? If I'm going to bring my kids to it, I'm not going to bring my kids, or anyone for that matter, is not going to bring their kids because they want their kids to be preached to and say, oh, you see, this is what happens when, according, at least if you go by the CNBC article, oh, well, you know what? It's all that environmentalism out. Oh, I'll tell you right now, there's overpopulation. And I'm bringing you this movie so that way you can see that Thanos is actually the good guy here and that him snapping away half the world. Oh, it's something that we need to take more seriously because overpopulation is concerned. No one's bringing their kids to have that. No one's bringing their kids to be preached to in that way. And so Jeremy Renner obviously understands that and says, no. We're there first and foremost because we've been given an opportunity to present these fictional characters on screen that for many kids across the world are going to be more than just characters on the screen, but actual heroes. That's why so many of them have dressed up in their costumes and have gone to hospitals to talk to these kids, because guess what? Kids need that. Kids need someone to look up to. Our young people in this world need someone to look up to. What they don't need is a rich, pompous asshat telling them what to do and how to think, and that they're a terrible person because they like a certain political party or like a certain politician or anything like that. No one wants that from any side of the aisle. So I think that Jeremy Renner here is obviously maybe speaking to that, very pointedly saying, yeah, you know what, she might be trying to get off on her agenda and use it as a platform, but to me, celebrity isn't about that. To me, obviously, I'm going to try and be the best person that I can. I'm going to try and do the best thing that I can, but, the greatest joy is going to be to see the impact that I have in what I'm being presented as a superhero. So that's my thought on this. And again, Bounding Into Comics, great website to be talking about this information. But guys, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Do you think that he was maybe throwing a little bit of shade at her? I think it is very hard to tell completely whether or not he's totally taking a direct shot at her. Though I think that to speculate that he is definitely within the realm of possibility, just because if you actually watch the video, which I'm not going to show just because of copyright concerns, what you're going to see is he has obviously a very uncomfortable body language. He does not like the response that she's giving. And he also, when speaking, is looking down and is giving, he's obviously very uncomfortable giving interviews. You can tell that much. But also, it seems that they're not really comfortable with each other. And this goes even further past, to the Chris Hemsworth interviews. And I know some people say, oh, if you watch the entire interview, you see that they're playing with each other all the time. And yes, I definitely can see that element of play between all the characters and all the actors. However, there is also sometimes when you joke, you're actually saying something that's true, and sometimes you try and mask it as comedy. And I honestly think that if this is to be taken seriously, that at least not everyone, I think that we could all at least agree on this point, that not everyone behind the scenes likes her, just like not everyone in the public likes her. There is obviously a split between whether you like her or not, and whether that has any impact on the movie or not, for you, personally. I know that I, myself, went into Captain Marvel with all the things that I knew about her, and I was like, all right, I can still look at you and understand that there are some things that you could probably do well. Keep in mind, I'm one of the persons that was saying, hey, you know what, I will defend her, at least with 2 movies that I've seen with her in. Room, which was amazing, and I think, she won an Oscar for that. Now, do I think she should have won that year? I mean, obviously, I think an argument can be made because the Oscars are now almost completely subjective at this point, and, completely political at that. But also, there's another film called Short Term 12, which is an independent film, which she is also great in. So it's not like I have this complete and utter hatred of her that I can somehow not see that there's any good thing that she could possibly do on screen. So I'm coming at this from a more, I'm trying the very best that I can to come at it from an objective and also subjective point of view and be able to make clear that I can differentiate that. It seems like a lot of other people can't do that, though. But I would love to hear your thoughts about whether or not you think there is anything going on behind the scenes, if there is any shade that's being thrown in this way. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Also, guys, if you like this video, smash the like button, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. Thank you so much for putting up with me during this new setup. Obviously, as you can see, I'm in a different location, still in the great state of Tennessee, using my travel microphone, so hopefully it's picking up a little bit better. I know there's a sound machine going on right now, but I think that it's hopefully not going to pick up too badly, and if it does, I'm doing the best I can. The best part of all this, though, is that I'm no longer just filming this on my lap, and so there shouldn't be any, dings anymore. The only problem with this microphone is that if I were to touch anything on the computer, it would pick up because of the vibrations. So what I'm hoping is that because I'm now using it on a table and was able to kind of, finagle this, that it's going to end up being okay. But guys, thank you so much for putting up with me. Thank you all so much again for all the love, for all the support. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.